Hariom, Hariom, Hariom Bhamaji, Hariom Arvindji,
Hariom ji.
Hari,
Namaste.
Hariom, Hariom Dr. Pushpaji, Hariom Rajshri ji, Hariom Dipti ji, Hariom Nick ji, Hariom Vasudevan ji, Gita ji. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes and then we can begin our session. Hariom Dr. Poonam ji, Namaste.
Hariom.
Hariom Srinivas ji, Hariom. So if any Hariom Gita ji, Hariom. If anybody has any queries, anything you wish to look at, we can look at that, or we will directly begin the Adhyay. Can we have a couple of minutes for other participants to join? You can wait for a minute. If anybody wishes to look at any shloka, we can look at it, or we'll just wait. Hari Om. We stopped at shloka number 5, so we will be continuing with shloka number 6.
Hariom ji.
Hari Om ji. Hari Om Sunita ji. Hari Om Rakesh ji. Alright, I think we can begin with the invocation. Again, I request all participants who can turn on your video feeds, please do turn on your video feeds. It's easier to interact that way. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Mokam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrupatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Vasudevam Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Hari Om. We are into our 9th Adhyay now. Yes, can anybody recollect what is it that we last saw? Yes, please. Anybody? Hari Om.
Something like
Ji.
presence is everywhere,
but
people are not.
Okay, about the divine mystery of the universe. We are all living in the divine consciousness. We are breathing, dwelling, yet we are not conscious of it. Or the consciousness of the divine does not surface on all. It is not visible on the surface of every living being, though there is the divine on the inside. Yes, that was one thing we saw. Yes, Vasudevanji. Anything anybody would like to add further?
Yeah. We talked about Uttarayan.
Okay. We talked about Uttarayan and Dakshinayan, the Shukla Marga and the Krishna Marga, the stairway of the forefathers and the stairway of the Devas. So these yogis, they are able to consciously even choose their post-life journey. Those who choose the Krishna Marga, they come back to earth. Those who choose the Shukla Marga, they go to that state of moksha and they do not return. So these are two stairways that we saw. All right. Yes, please. Srinivas ji, you were adding something.
We saw Krishna explaining to Arjuna that he is a formless, how he is a formless form.
Okay. Yes.
So, Nirgun Nirakar.
Okay. Yes. Krishna.
That concept is explained to Arjuna.
From the Nirgun Nirakar came the Sagun Sakar, is it not? From the formless came the form, and in that form was this entire Srishti was created. So the Srishti is having the foundation as the divine only. Divine is the foundation of the Srishti. But this divine is not present on the surface. This is the mystery of the universe. The divine is present. We also saw that earlier also, the Adi Yagna, that is the sacrifice. The all-powerful has chosen to appear weak. I have a friend who can laugh and say, I pity God. He says, I feel very sad for God. Now, it doesn't make a difference to God. He's not going to get offended. He's not someone who's going to be like, this is blasphemy, I will not tolerate it. It's not like that. He cannot, he is not. He has put his rules. He has created this Srishti. He has created Prakriti's rules and he has bound himself. Willingly allowed himself to get chained, like how Anjaneya was chained in Lanka. He allowed himself. He had another plan. He wanted to go and meet Ravana. So he was letting his agenda go ahead. So he allowed himself. The great Rudra also was tied and he was brought to the court. Something like that. This divine is probably there may be moments when the divine wants to intervene but is now, because of his own limitation, because of his own sacrifice, the divine is unable to intervene. And this is the interesting mystery of the universe. Krishna is saying, see, everybody is living, thriving, breathing in my consciousness. It is my prana that is flowing through everybody. It is I who am the constitution of every living being. If the living beings are all one, can we say anybody is higher or lower in divinity, in terms of divinity on the inside? No, is it not? It is not. It is not, because the same conscious essence. That is why we do Namaste, Namahate, that divinity we recognize in the person in front of us. And we say, let the divinity inside of me recognize the divinity in the other person as well. But again, this is the mystery. But in spite of all of this, I don't think we see all our people are divine, all the people we know are divine. Though we know the divine is there inside. How is that? Well, that is the, what we can say, the mystery of the universe. The great artist is looking at his own art and telling Arjuna, kya baat hai? Look at this mystery. I am there inside everyone, everywhere, and yet I am not visible on the surface. People can't recognize me, though they are thriving. It is just like how there are colonies of bacteria that are cultured in a small dish, because and the media is there. The media has been planted for the growth, but they are not conscious that this is a planted media. For them, they are colonies, and colonies are established. Something like that. Humanity is living, breathing, dwelling in divine consciousness, yet unconscious. Let us go on. We'll go to the sixth shloka. Before we enter into the sixth shloka, let us look at the illustration for this adhyay, the ninth one. Yes, please. Can someone tell me what do you see here?
What I can see is that there are three. I mean, as we define religion and culture, so there are three different sectors. Like one is praying like this, one is praying like this, one is folding hands. Doesn't matter as long as you're praying and you're worshiping the divine and believing in it. So that's what all of them are doing in different forms.
Okay, so they are doing the same thing in different forms, is what Deepti ji is saying. All right. Anybody would like to add further? Yes, please.
Per- Hari Om.
Yes, Savitri ji.
Person is one, and the types of prayer is different.
Okay. So the different forms of prayer. There are so many different forms of prayers. But the person, are human beings only. All of us are trying to recognize the divine, and we are trying to pray in different ways. So what is then essential in all of these? Because people do a lot of things in the name of prayer also. People, while they pray on one side, on the other side, they do so many other things as well. Some people, yes, please. What is important?
Just to have a connect.
Yes, Saitri ji, I'll come after that. I'll come to Dipti ji. Yes, please.
Just to have a connect where you get the peace.
Okay, Gayatri ji says to have a connect. All right. Yes, Gayatri ji. Anybody wants to add? Srinivas ji was adding something? Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting that everyone is looking upwards.
Acha. Okay.
That is very interesting.
Okay.
As if it is God is sitting there, or that divine power is sitting there.
Okay, he's there only, not here. So they are looking upwards.
Upwards or outwards.
Okay. Okay, Vasudevan is saying yes, they're all doing outward. There was one person who did a puja of his own photo. God is inside of me, and this is what my Guruji had told when he was quite young. He had gone with his guru to meet one person. He was an intellectual. Suddenly, in the middle of conversation, he goes out. He says, "Now is the time for puja." And in front of everybody, he starts doing the puja of his own photo, and everybody is looking at what is wrong with this person. So sometimes people look, yeah, that is right. But looking inside, Vasudevanji is saying, yes, maybe that divinity inside. Can you see that? Sometimes just seeing outside is not enough. Yes, please, Dipti ji, you were adding.
I just want to say that in any form or however you're doing, the most important thing that is required is trust in the God and sincerity, the purity with which you're doing. Because even if I can say that, as you already mentioned, that right now if I'm doing puja, but in my mind something else is going on, so that bell is going tam tam tam, but something else is going. So that's not the devotion I'm doing. I have to have the sincerity and the focus.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean,
all right. So, sincerity, love, and devotion, that is what is important more than the mode of worship. Now, can someone just highlight? Yes, please, Dr. Pushpaji. Yes, please.
Shraddha is also important.
Yes, Shraddha, exactly, exactly. Now, let us just look at one point and then we'll immediately enter. How is Shraddha important if the prayer is wrong? If the mode of prayer is wrong, how can Shraddha help?
Whatever may be the mode of prayer, if Shraddha is there, um, finally we can realize the divine.
Okay, so it is Shraddha is most essential. We say probably. Do you think Shraddha can correct a person's wrong also? If the person Shraddha can make a person conscious by default, it is like a magnetic compass pointing in a particular direction. If Shraddha is there, can the person understand also? Can we go that way as well? If Shraddha is there, the mode of prayer is perfect because even if mistakes are made, they are made by the divine will because the ego will has left that individual and the person with the sincerity. There's no ahankar, there's no individual conscious force, it is just connecting with the supracosmic force and things happen and can fall in place. Can we go this way as well as a corollary? Yes?
Krishna told like that only, no?
Ji.
Whatever may be the mode of prayer, whatever
Yes.
may be
Yes, yes, yes. He
the
says,
form of prayer,
I use the
God is
Shraddha of the
there.
individual. He says, I use the Shraddha to fuel the progress of the individual. Maybe the prayer is asking for something results. He says, it's alright. As long as that Shraddha is there, it's going to make him at least a little conscious.
No, that is fruit. Expecting fruit is not
It
the
is not right. It is not right.
realization of divine.
It is not right. But Krishna says, I even given if he says, I don't break anybody's Shraddha. He says, it's alright. Some people make prayers with fruits. He says, they seek a particular fruit, they seek a particular form. He says, I give them, but these are fruits are temporary because their base is very, foundation is low, what we can say, a lower foundation. And yet he says, I still allow that because the Shraddha is going to take the person ahead. Example I always quote is my friend who would break 2 coconuts before the exam.
Mhm.
The divine would allow that person to at least let that Shraddha go on, and for that person, those coconuts were the most important thing in his life at that time. And even now, he can laugh over it and he can say, yes, probably they were working that time. Now I need to find better quality coconuts, or what he has to search, what he needs to find. But yes,
Because
yeah,
because we people are suddenly may not be turned
mm,
into divine.
yes,
Because of that fruitness only, we can slowly
slowly.
transform ourselves into in depth Saddha. We can go
Okay,
into the depth
yes, yes.
Saddha
Yes,
episode.
yes, but consciously we must take an effort to let go of the fruits because it is like
Yes.
if I have to travel from Pondicherry to Chennai, the best route is direct from Pondi to Chennai. There's no point traveling to Bangalore and then from Bangalore to Chennai. Ultimately, I have to go to that same place. It is something like that. With fruits, we go about a roundabout route, but it's still going somewhere. But when there is sincerity, there is devotion, the instrument is available for the divine to work. The instrument can be utilized by the divine because ahankar has been set aside. So again, Krishna says, whichever mode is there, the sincerity is important, the love is important, the devotion in the individual is important. Then it is considered to be complete if these ingredients are there in the shraddha of the person or in the prayer of the person. Yes, please. Srinivas, wants to add something.
There has to be complete surrender. Without surrender, the Shraddha is not Shraddha. It is just Vishwas.
Yes,
It is
yes,
a
yes.
trust.
Yes, yes, but surrender also happens. Surrender also happens naturally. Surrender also happens slowly. A conscious decision has to be done. We must recognize it. Yes, I need to let go. But surrender happens in stages as well. Even that cannot be sometimes forced also. It has to happen naturally. It will come when the sincerity is there. So this aspect of having the sincerity, love and devotion. In Sanskrit we can just use one single word. Shraddha. Shraddha makes the miracles happen. Shraddha is going to bring about a transformation. Let us begin. We'll go to the sixth shloka. What is it that Krishna said? Deepti ji wants to add something. Okay. Yes?
Sorry, by mistake.
Alright. Fine. यथाकाशस्थितो नित्यं वायुः सर्वत्र गो महान् तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्स्थानीत्युपधारय मत्स्थानीति उपधारय. Just as the mighty winds, just as the mighty winds that flow, pervading all of space, in all directions they blow, so too you can conceive of my existence as well. Wherever all living beings persist, there I dwell. He says, how is it? Just like the winds. Again, Krishna does not leave the example of the winds. He says, like the winds which are blowing in all directions. You cannot say wind is only in one place. Arjuna had said that, my mind is the wind. How is your mind the wind? Your mind is not like the wind. Wind is flowing everywhere. Your mind is still trapped in your own ego consciousness. It's not. He says, I am like the wind. I flow in all directions, he says. Pervading all of space in all directions. We cannot say, can we say that yes, there is no, we can say velocity of wind is less, but we cannot say there is nothing here. Air is moving everywhere when we become conscious, but it is moving. And which direction does air move? Does it go in a particular direction or it just spreads in all? It spreads in all directions. Like that, my divinity has spread all across the universe. He says, wherever the living beings are present, wherever they are present, there you can find my presence. I am there where all living beings reside, he says. He goes on, Sarva Bhutani Kaunteya Prakritim Yanti Mamikam Kalpakshaye Punastani Kalpadau Visrujamyaham. All things belonging to this creation of mine ultimately return and merge into my nature divine. A cyclic relapse of end and beginning they undergo. From me they come, and I lose them when they go. So he says, all these living beings, he says, they are going to come ultimately back to me because this creation, it is I who created all of this. So they go under this cycle of end and beginning. He says, they have come from me and I lose them when they go. This I lose them when they go, meaning it's like a parent who is feeling that now the child is gone away from the parent. Now the parent cannot control the child, or the parent cannot say anything to the child because the child is now walking on an independent path. Parent will remain the parent always. The parent will remain conscious of the child. But somewhere, and it is like that. We have walked on our independent path. Sometimes we ignore our own origin, our own source. That's the loss of smriti that we have. In those moments also Krishna says, yes, they're going to come back ultimately to me only. They have gone back, they have gone away from me right now, but they will come back again is what he says. He goes on further, he introduces about Prakriti. Prakritim swamavashtabhya visrujami punah punah bhutagramam kritsnam avasham prakritir vashat. Descending into my own created nature, I configure multitudes of existences of many a stature. He says, I am the creator of this Ashtada Prakriti. We have studied these Ashtada Prakritis, is it not? This combination of Pancha Mahabhutas, the mind, the buddhi, the ego, all these factors are present. It's like very nicely, intricately woven together. All these have been brought together to create the living being. He says, I enter into my own existence, my own nature, configuring these multitudes of existences. But under nature's control is every living object, and governed by its law is every subject. So every living being, because we are made, this is Prakriti, this is the, it's like all of us are running on the same software. Hardware may be different systems are there, different hardwares are having different features, all of it. But the software that is running inside, that software is actually the same. It is Prakriti inside of every living being. He goes on, Nachamam tani karmani nibadhnanti dhananjaya udasena vadasenam asaktam teshu karmasu. I am the detached and indifferent overlord, seated above all. I watch over my every word. In nature's grip, I am not found, for by nature's works, I cannot be bound. Krishna says, I am the one, I am that detached overlord. I think I forgot to close this presentation. Yes. So he says, I am the detached and indifferent overlord, seated above all. So I am the one, I am detached, I am like a parent who is detached, sometimes allowing the children to fall down also without intervening, because I am that indifferent one, seated above all. I watch over my every word, I watch over everyone. In nature's grip I am not found, for by nature's works I cannot be bound. He says, I am not found in nature's grip, because I have created Prakriti, but I am not bound by Prakriti, I am beyond that. I think we had a small discussion in the 8th Adhyay when we saw what was this consciousness, the perspective of divine consciousness and human consciousness. There is such a great difference. We saw the example of the insects that enter into homes during rainy season. Their entire lifespan is it's nothing, it's just a fraction. For us it's nothing, it's not even a significant moment, but that does not mean we are insensitive. It's something like that. The divine is watching over a greater plan which we are not conscious of, and he is watching it indefinitely. He is watching and he is not bound by Prakriti. It has not come to save every little insect that is there. That is the state of the divine. He goes on, for by nature's works I cannot be bound. He goes on, Maya Dhakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sacharacharam Hetunanena Kaunteya Jagat Viparivartate. I am the presiding control over nature's creations. From my creative spirit rise the abundant manifestations. O Arjuna, in nature's cycle everyone has to involve, for this is what causes the world to rotate and revolve. So each of us, he says, I am the presiding control. Overall, I am in charge, he says, even over Prakriti. It is from my creative spirit, my force inside of me, that all the different creations of different shapes and sizes have come into existence. Because everybody has to involve in this cycle of nature, because this is what causes the earth to revolve, this is what causes the evolution of an individual and a race or entire life. All life evolves because of involving in this cycle of nature, in this Prakriti. Can we say we are out of Prakriti's cycle? I don't believe in Prakriti, and I don't belong to this Prakritic cycle. If I were to say that, and I say I will not yield to Prakriti, is it possible, or how is it? Would you say of this? Or what will you advise me if I were to say that? Yes, please. Because Krishna says everybody is involved, whether or not. Or do we agree with this statement that all of us are governed by Prakriti?
It's physically also we can see every day the
Physically,
sunrise,
sunrise.
the sunrise revolution of the earth, and everything is moving.
Ji, ji.
Birds chirps and the trees grow, and human growth, or from the baby to whatever
Yes, yes.
aging.
Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. We'll see later on in the Gita.
Everything is
All is
physically
like a
seen.
cycle. Every
There's
day
no dispute in that.
we have to get up and then we have to go to sleep. It's like almost
Yeah,
every day we cannot say I say no, I don't want to sleep. How many days can I go? 1 day,
correct.
2 days, 3 days. After that, my battery is going to be zero only. I'll automatically need recharging. So it's something like that. We're all following a cycle. Even our bodies follow a particular rhythm, a cycle. Nature is something Prakriti has inserted that. Probably many times people want to go back into that because they feel that cycle has been disturbed. That is why the entire problems are manifesting. So they try to, align with the cycle of the nature as well. Let us go on. Krishna says next, 11th one. Avajanante mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhava majananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Caged within the human bodies, our minds eluded about my eternal truth. They are deluded. My supreme nature they do not apprehend. Its existence ethereal. They cannot comprehend. Krishna says this. He says, encaged within the human bodies. These are minds. These are minds which are trapped into the physical bodies. These minds are driven by the indriyas only. They are not able to see the higher truth. It's like trapped individuals. Because they are trapped, they are lost in that maya of this srishti that they never recognize the divine truth, he says. They never comprehend that eternal truth. Because this is something, this ethereal existence, this shashvat, this avyaya existence. It's like what divine? Why divine? Look at this body. This body is made of flesh and bones. This body can break. The bones can break. The skin bleeds. What is there? What is divine in this existence? Is what they feel because they cannot. Their perception is just limited to their indriyas. Everything is only the what we can say reactionary. What they can understand, what they do not understand does not exist for them. This is a trap. This is again a trap for individuals. But what happens then? They say ignorance is bliss. Well, it's not really bliss. Gita does not say ignorance is bliss. It may be bliss for a while, but when the karmic consequence of ignorance start coming back, then all the bliss is lost. We don't tolerate ignorance anywhere. Can we go to a doctor and we say it's all right, let it ignorance is bliss, it's okay, doctor can be ignorant. Will we want to go to a doctor who is ignorant? Not at all. It's not possible. If a nuclear physicist or somebody working in a nuclear reactor, he claim to hide behind ignorance? Oh, I'm sorry, I allowed the reaction to get critical. Now this is going to be a great explosion, and all are going to die because of it. I think you should agree and allow my ignorance. Do we tolerate that?
No, cannot. I think
Okay.
it means something else.
Yes, yes.
Ignorance is better than some. It causes fear.
But in
Someday
Gita,
we do a blood test. You have
yes,
so many diseases, they say.
yes.
Many people don't even know.
But what
Look at them.
happens? There,
For
I,
them, they didn't. So
yes, yes, yes.
for them, they didn't know. Now they
For them,
start
ignorance is bliss.
fearing.
For
They start
okay.
fearing.
Acha, so there, when fear to hide fear, ignorance is okay, is what Vasudevan ji is saying.
It's the kind of thing that's what is being said.
What is being said, but somewhere it's not wrong. It's not.
Doctor should know the consequences and know how to treat it.
Yes,
But
yes.
maybe the patient should not know.
Maybe the patient should not know. I remember I know a person who's diabetic, and he says, no, no, yeah, this is nothing. He says it's all right. 300 is hardly a value. It's okay. One laddu is allowed. Now here, can we say ignorance is bliss because he's enjoying the laddu here? There's no fear here, Vasudevanji. Would you
No,
say
now
this?
he knows. Now he
So
knows.
there it's not
He is
accepted. All right,
he-
Ji. All right, Ji. Ji, Ji, Ji. Yes, yes, because the karmic consequences
I'm
when
not
they
saying,
start.
right? I'm saying maybe this is the reason
This
why.
is, yeah, that is a general, it's like some of the things are in generalizations, people use these terms, but it's sometimes, it's better. Consciousness is real ananda. Ignorance is sometimes pseudo bliss, we can say. It may not last forever. When you get conscious, then it is something. I know people who smile, who laugh in spite of having sugar. They can consciously eat one sweet and they relish that sweet so well. They don't go into that attachment of craving also, and that way they are enjoying. But they are conscious and blissful. So this is what Gita talks about, being consciously blissful. When there is ignorance, there is a great danger. What is that danger? Let us see the next shloka. मोघाशा मोघकर्माणो मोघज्ञाना विचेतसः Rakshasi Masurim Chaiva Prakrutim Mohinim Shritaha. These ignorant forms are crude and profane, as their hopes, knowledge, and actions are all vain. In banal and demonic natures they thrive and dwell, and their will and intellect are lost under their spell. So Krishna is saying these ignorant forms, they are crude and profane. Now he goes on to calling them profane also. Initially crude and then later on profane, because what happens in this ignorance? Sometimes ignorance breeds more ignorance only, it does not give knowledge. So that is why ignorance is a problem. Because what is happening? Hopes are also like that, driven by ignorance. When the hope is also ignorant, what is going to be the wisdom that person is going to hear? He's not going to get knowledge, it's going to be ignorance only. So, hopes, knowledge, and actions are all in vain. It's like if I have a wrong dream, if I have a dream of, say, my greatest hope in life is to somehow own a brewery so I can take as much alcohol as I want. What's going to happen? This is the hope I have in life. What will be the outcome, or what will be my wisdom here? What's going to happen? It's going to be, my actions are also going to be directed towards that. And what's going to happen after that? I am going to be driven by that direction only. My addiction will start taking over me, and that is all. My life is going to get ruined. Why? My direction only was wrong because of my ignorance. So this is exactly what Krishna is saying, and this is where these demonic natures we'll see later on. There is something called Devi Swabhava, and another is the Asuri Swabhava. So the demonic natures start manifesting, uncontrolled anger starts entering individuals, uncontrolled lust. All we saw. What is the reason for the sin? Most of the time, it is just that Rajoguna. From Rajoguna, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha is what Krishna says. Anger and desire. These two start manifesting, and they come out of this ignorance only. And what happens? Will and intellect is lost under their spell. So no matter what intellectual prowess I may have, or no matter how good my will may be, because I'm driven by these desires, because I'm driven by my ignorance, all of this will go waste, is what Krishna is saying. He goes on later. But then there are different, everybody is not driven by the desire only. Everybody is not in the trap of their own desires. There are these high souls also. Krishna talks about them also. He calls them Mahatmas. These are the Mahatmas who have actually risen, the great Atmas. महात्मानस्तु मां पार्थ दैवीं प्रकृतिमाश्रिताः भजन्त्यनन्यमनसो ज्ञात्वा भूतादिमव्ययम्. But the high souls contemplate and meditate, for they are aware of my nature's eternal state. For with love they turn towards only me, as the imperishable creator of all, only me they see. He says, but these high ones, they are able to just take a lot of they have so much devotion, they are able to recognize a divine existence, that there is this divine existence, and everywhere wherever they go they see only the divine. It is like sometimes तारीफ करूँ क्या उसकी, या जिसकी जिसकी जिसने तुम्हें बनाया है. There's a song, is it not? So the person also inside the beauty also, he sees, no, I see the manifestation of the divine. I can see that, and that is why they adore the divine. Wherever, anything that is beautiful, anything that is pure, their love is so beautiful towards the divine, and that is the highest form of love, that is towards the divine, which these certain souls have purified and raised their consciousness. It is even higher, what even Sri Aurobindo and the mother say, even higher than human love is divine love, and that is the highest state that can be reached. These souls, they are meditating on this divine force, this divine love, and that way they are able to see every single place, is what Krishna is saying. They are able to see the divine, the imperishable creator. How difficult it is to see in the world, is it not? Isn't it a big challenge when we are surrounded by so many lower consciousnesses around us, or so many instances where it is very difficult? But these high ones, they are able to rise, they are able to rise above the pull of the Prakriti, or what we can say, the flux of Maya which is there. Beyond that, they are able to see that divine, is what Krishna is saying. Satatam Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yadantascha Drudavrataha Namasyantascha Mam Bhaktya Nitya Yukta Upasate. So they are in the Nitya Upasana of the divine. Wherever they go, they are able to actually stay in that Upasana of the divine only. Why? Because they adore me with the greatest love. They are adoring me with the greatest love and spiritual fervor. Consecrated efforts they put in their every endeavor. In my surrender and worship, they kneel and bow, and a perfect union with me they seek to know. So, what do they want? Whatever they do, all their efforts, they are consecrated. If they are cooking, they cook, offering that to now divine Krishna is only going to come and taste this food. How can I afford to make something wrong? Or if they are doing some beautiful artwork, that art is also, it is an expression of beauty. They say, let me become the pen for the divine. Let me become the brush. I am just going to allow manifestation of the divine. This is act of consecration. Now my question is, which act cannot be consecrated? Is there any act that you can say cannot be consecrated? At our workplace, if we are at our workplace, can we not consecrate our works also? Every action, every action. There was one participant who had a very bad life experience, and she got angry with God, So her anger also she consecrated at God only. She would go regularly to the temple and she would actually have fights. That was her only connection. Later on, while recollecting that, she had tears in her eyes because now her life has changed and everything, but she was just remembering that very sad period of her life. But that time she would go to the temple and she would say, "What, you are happy now? You are happy, suffer, make troubling me. Are you enjoying?" This was her, but this was her connection. In that darkest moment, which would have otherwise crushed her life story, is very sad what she went through at that time. But that connection was there. So even that was consecrated, maybe not the best way, but still, what happens with consecration? That link is there, that link is established. According to our swabhava, according to our nature, it's all right. Maybe later on, maybe now we are Valya, tomorrow we'll become Valmiki. That is not a problem. And that headache is also not ours. Divine will make it instantaneously possible when we are ready. But the link is important. That consecration is important in whichever karma we are doing. And these high yogis, these are called Mahatmas. Those who are able to do this, they are consecrating and they have this great love and a great spiritual fervor for the divine. This in surrender and worship, they kneel and bow. Ultimately, she too had to. One day, then finally, she was angry for a big period of time. Every day she would go, and then something happened. Some big trouble which was on her head for so many years at a very young age of life. Suddenly, like black clouds disappear like that. That cleared, and she actually went and she said, "Oh, so you really care? You do care, finally." Finally, you have done it. And the moment she says that, in that temple, that Pujari, he comes and gives her the har which was offered to Krishna. And she is surprised and he says, "I don't know what today I felt like giving you." And that man has seen her come every day, and whatever she's not using those words on the outside. It's her inner thing. But she says that was the day, she says that was the day everything changed. Then whatever inside of me, she says it was like a great, some kind of what dam is broken and all that flow has started, of bhakti started in her life. After that, she is the one who's got a brilliant Vishwarup darshan. She has shared it also. It was so beautiful. I felt it was deeper than the Gita itself. That was how we can say in our individual lives also, if we can just consecrate our actions, channel it is what he's saying. These wise ones, these Mahatmas, they worship. He says even the Mahatmas are kneeling, the Mahatmas are bowing and they are worshipping the divine because they are recognizing that there is something greater than them. And what do they need? What do they seek? They want to get that knowledge of union. They want to be united with the consciousness. He goes on.
I want to say something
Yes,
here.
please.
When I used, like, when I was in my teenage, I used to go to temple with my grandma.
Okay.
So I have seen many times like the pujari used to give flowers, not to everybody,
Hmm.
very few, and I always used to think why not to everybody. So
Okay.
that time I had that question, why not to everybody?
Ah.
And also my grandma used to say that when we, if there's some puja or if there's some special occasion, we don't taste the food before offering
Yeah.
to the god. It will automatically be taken care. So that time I never used to understand like
It
why
is.
this special, like, and she added so much belief. No, it will be taken care. Don't worry. We have like 20 guests also. Then also it will be fine.
Annapurna's presence
Now if
was
you're,
there, is it?
yeah.
Is
So
it?
I mean
Yes.
now when you're talking about it, I'm recalling all those
Okay, ji.
things and it's relatable.
Ji. Yes, ji. Yes, Hari Om, Deep. Thank you for sharing. So let us continue. 15th shloka. So the consciousness gets cultivated only, and then that consciousness makes a difference. I think how the pujari may be conscious, and so he may be feeling this is the place. Who knows? For us, it is just an act of giving the flower. Who knows what that flower means to the person who is receiving it? That also is not something which is mechanically done. It needs to be done automatically. It happens. One does not. It is like we have seen a karta bhava must be there in the. So everywhere we just become. There's a divine flux going on everywhere. We just have to align with that consciousness. Then what we can say, life changes. Life changes. Miracles happen. They become a regular feature also of life when we are connected with that. So ज्ञानयज्ञेन चाप्यन्ये यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम. Through the sacrifice of knowledge, Krishna says, through the sacrifice of knowledge, those who seek their knowledge as offerings in the Gnostic sacrifice they keep. In the Jnana Yajna, what is the Ahuti? It is knowledge only. Whatever I understand, whatever I know, I am going to pour all of that into that fire and let that fire grow. So let that wisdom also grow. So those seekers in the Jnana Yajna, Can anybody give an example of a Jnana Yajna? What is this Jnana Yajna?
What we are
Even a
doing now.
discourse.
Yes, perfectly. Gita study, exactly. But even studying Gita is called Jnana Yajna. I think all of us are Purohits. We are all trying to offer something and try to understand Krishna better. So this what Krishna is saying, that knowledge is poured as an ahuti. So they keep that as the ahuti, and what do? They worship in all life forms my divine unity, and also in all. They adore my vast multiplicity. So he says, these seekers of knowledge, with their knowledge, they are able to understand. They are pouring their knowledge into the fire, and then they are getting that wisdom with which they can worship the divine unity in the diverse existence of the world. All and every place, in all that diversity, they are seeing a divine unity, and also they adore all the presence of the divine. They are also able to see the divine in others, just as they are able to see, it's like one in all and all in one. That experience is there, that person is able to get. He goes on, aham kruturaham yajnah swadhaham aham aushadham mantroham aham evagyam aham agnir aham hotam. So he says, I am the ritual action and the sacrifice that is performed. I am the food oblation, the medicinal herb by which the sacrifice is formed. I am clarified butter, and I am the incantation transcendental for the sacrifice. I am the flame and also the offering central. So Krishna says, I am that. Agnim mire purohitam, ahameva agni, ahameva purohit, ahameva ahuti, ahameva grutam. I am the everything. The medicinal oshadi or the herbs, when they put the yagna, when they do the yagna, they offer the ahutis. In ahutis, different medicinal herbs along with different sticks are offered. There is gauri, there is this dried cow dung, so many other ingredients are offered. Ghee is put. All this actually purifies the atmosphere as well, and it has its own psychological significance as well. There is a different spiritual aspect behind the ritual also. He says, I am there in the ritual also. I am that ritual action also, he says. And I am the complete yagna also. I am the food that is offered. I am the medicinal herb. I am the clarified butter. I am the great mantra which is being chanted. I am also the flame, I am the Agni, which is a central aspect of the fire, is what Krishna is saying. So I think we've seen Brahmarpanam, Brahmavir, Brahmagno, Brahmana Hutam, Brahmaiva, Tena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina, all is entering into Brahma, is what that shloka was talking about. After this shloka, we don't have to say that, we can say Krishnarpanam, Krishnavir, Krishnagno, Krishnana Hutam, Krishnaiva Tena Gantavyam, Krishna Karma Samadhina, because Krishna is saying he is only that, and he is everything. So this is the realization Krishna is just showing. Probably this is the Rajavidya. If we can just realize that, probably everywhere in life we will be able to see that behind the wheel, maybe that sudden veil of Maya is going to get lifted and we might be able to actually witness. There are people who have enjoyed that. Why we see many saints, they are always smiling. Sometimes youngsters wonder what is wrong. Why is this person always smiling? Whoever comes, we don't know what that person is seeing. He may be seeing something inside of that person or behind the appearance. He's smiling at something else. A divine being is visible to that person. I remember my teacher's friends had taken him to one particular yogi, and that yogi was able to see certain things inside of individuals. And I told, no, no, come, let us go. And so he would look at the person and tell something about that person. So that person, while he was talking, he talked about everybody, but my teacher, he just looked and he just turned away. He again looked and he turned away. He did not speak anything. And then that student asked him, why have you not spoken? He said, what am I going to speak? Who is there behind? I can see who is behind this person. I'm not going to speak anything about it. I will not. Because this vision is there. This vision is there. The person is able to see who is there, who is behind, whose hand, whose Abhaya Hasta is there. We do not know that. The wise ones can see that. Probably that is why they adore the divine. Even in that, they adore the divine. They see the outer person is just an individual. Behind that, what is there? That is visible. So he goes on, I am that central offering. He goes on, Pitaha Masya Jagato Mata Dhata Pitamaha Vedyam Pavitra Momkara Ruksama Yajurevacha. That's why they say recognize the divine, realize the divine, you will realize Ved also. Because again, it is that only. Ved is also divine. Krishna is saying, for all, I am the true father and the mother. who someone who's lost a father, lost a mother, who is there? Well, it is divine. Orphans, who's going to look after orphans? But somebody looks after orphans. Grow, they do great, brilliant works, they do wonderful things for the world also. I know of a particular person who started a village for people with special needs. One young boy. Where did he get all of this? Who is his father? Who is his mother? He doesn't know that. Yet he has got his, for him the world is the father, and now he's started a beautiful village. His name of the village is Srishti village. Now he's got children as well, and that's so nicely flourishing. But how did he rise? Well, there is a father, there is a mother. He recognizes it. He recognizes his father and mother in his life, and that has helped him so much. He says his father and mother provides correctly when it is required. It comes to him whatever he just needs to wish the right thing, and when it automatically happens is what he feels, and that's his experience. So aham mata dhata pitamaha is the word he says. For the world I am the Father Supreme and Perpetuator. I am Om, the first word and purifying sound. I am the knowledge. That in the three Vedas is found. Ruk, Samay and Yajur. These three Vedas you'll find the wisdom what is there. That is also I only is what he says. Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshe Nivasah Sharanam Suhrut Prabhavah Pralayasthanam Nidhanam Bijam Avyayam. Again, Bijam Avyayam. Earlier, Sutre Manigana Iva. Now Bijam Avyayam. I am that Avyay Bij and that eternal Bij. This seed will not get burnt. This is that eternal seed that is there inside, is what Krishna says. I am the master. I am the journey, the goal and the shelter. So I am only the marga. I am only the destination also. I am only the shelter that is sought. He goes on, Aham Sakshi, I am the witness, I am the refuge. So he says, I am only the shelter that is sought, I am only the witness that is there, I am the residence and well wisher. So he is only wishing us happy journey as we are going on in our life journey. We don't know that also. He says, I am there. This and this Sakshi Bhav is also a beautiful sadhana, where in life you try to become a witness in all the things that are happening. It's like you become a witness, observe, intervene only when required, and there that's another type of enjoyment. As they watch things happen in their life, they're consciously able to see as a sakshi, intervening only, and that too not driven by impulsive reactions. So that is one more way of controlling one's reactions as well. So this he says, but the divine is the witness also. He is watching. He is the well-wisher also. The creation, preservation, and destruction of everything. I am the seed and the eternal destination of every living thing. I am that final destination. I am the journey also. I am the source also, and I am the destination. So again, everywhere divine is present, is what he's saying. He goes on. Tapami aham varsham निगृह्णामि उत्सृजामि च अमृतं चैव मृत्युश्च सदा सत् चाहम अर्जुन. I am heat's energy. It is I who withhold and send the waters from the heavens that descend. O Arjuna, I am both death and immortality, nascent and existent. I am the quintessential reality. I am that reality which is there, which is nascent also, which is existent also. I am both Mrityu and Amritatva also. I am the water that is sent from the heavens, he says, and I am the heat that is giving energy to all life forms. He goes on, Trivedya mam somapaha putapapa yagnirištva svargatim prarthayante te punya masadya surendra lokam ashnanti devyan divideva bhogan. Those to whom the knowledge of the triple Vedas is known, they consume soma, the ambrosial nectar, for it is their own. So what they are experiencing, the taste, somras is theirs. They are doing the seven of the somras because they have got what is the ultimate essence of the existence. It is the divine. Somebody who has got that taste, he is actually tasting what is that immortal elixir only. They have understood. They understood the three types of knowledges also. They are able to recognize it. He says, worshipping me with sacrifices, the heavens, for the heavens they aspire. By their righteousness, divine feasts in paradise they enjoy and acquire. So he says they recognize it, they taste it, and then they enjoy it, and they seek that divine paradise. They get that as well. Now one question is this somewhere in contradiction with Mam Phaleshu Kadachana? After getting the knowledge also still wanting to get certain paradise or certain kind of experience, seeking. Is it? Yes, or here it's permitted. Krishna is giving an exception here. I allow this, or this is logically no. Krishna's rules apply to everyone, including himself. So why will he allow it? Or it's not allowed. What do you think? Seeking of this heavens, paradise, or with the sacrifice. Can we seek that? Yes, please. What do you think? You can ignore, you can agree or disagree, whichever way you. We'll go to the next look. It will become clear, of course. But what do you think? Is it allowed? What do you think?
If it is a nature, you have no control over it.
We have no control over it. But what do you think, Vasudevanji? Logically, should we seek that?
I mean, if that's what you want, there's no point in saying I want to seek higher when you are really wanting further.
Okay, so if that is a swabhava of the human nature, we cannot do anything, is what Vasudevanji is saying. Okay, Srinivasji, yes?
We need some motivation.
We need some motivation. All right, so maybe everywhere else we have removed our desires, but maybe in prayer we can probably keep a little bit, is what Krishna, because Krishna has not said anything earlier also. Well, he tells, I do not block your fruits. You are having that. It's like sometimes children cry so much to parents. I want this chocolate. I want this chocolate. The parent feels I should not give it. He says no once, twice, but the child is adamant. Now the parent looks at a higher scheme of things and fine, at least I have to do this work. Later on I will teach him something. Now here, take that chocolate, and he gives it. Is it not? That is what happens. But whether it is the right thing or not, let us see what the next sloka talks about. Te tam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam shine punye martyalokam vishanti evam traidharmam anuprapanna gata gatam kam kama labhante. Here he says, having enjoyed the rewards of the heavenly realm, with their good deeds exhausted, they return to the mortal dream. Seeking satisfaction to the prescribed Vedic virtues, they resort. Ultimately, back to the cycle of birth and demise, they retort. Krishna is saying this desire is also going to trap you if you are going to be in this desire. He is not saying you will not receive that. He says, yes, you will go, you will get the beautiful destination. But this is going to be, your trip is going to be only how many days booking you have done. Finally, first 4 days you will enjoy. Fifth day, oh no, I have to go back to work. Can I not extend it? No, your stay has been booked only for 4 days or 5 days. Something like that. For a limited period, whatever punya they have cultivated, now they are going to probably encash it. They are going to encash all of it. They'll enjoy it. But after that is over, they have to come back because maybe they are going to the Chandra Lokas. In the Chandra Loka, they have gone onto that marga. We saw about the what we can say, the Krishna Marga. So they go there. After that, they have to come back to the Prithvi, and this cycle continues, is what he's saying. Next.
We get rejuvenated, no? After
Yes, we get rejuvenated. But then, yes, but some feel this is why should I retreat? In life, I'm moving ahead only. Why do I go for a retreat? I'm only going to move aggressively. I don't need retreats. I remember my teacher Damleji saying, change of work is rest. And he says your work can also become vacation if you start enjoying your work. Wherever your work takes you, that place you can enjoy as your what we can say vacation as well. But anyway, this is what this shloka talks about. That yes, desires. Well, here also, unfortunately, these desires also we should try to avoid because these are also going to take us somewhere. They're going to take these are higher, so they will take us to a better place. But again, ultimately, desires only. So that will again have their own cycle. So let go of that also if possible. Krishna goes on, next one. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah pariyupasate teshan nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. This is a promise. Uh, what is this Krishna is assuring? What is this Krishna is talking about? Or this shloka has anybody heard anywhere? This, where is it?
LICs.
Vishnu Sahasranam.
Okay, Vasudevanji's Vishnu Sahasranam, and here Gayatri ji is saying it is a policy of a company. All right. Now, what is this? Is Krishna assuring some returns with subject to certain market risks and conditions? What is Krishna doing here? Or this is absolutely, this is the shloka probably which has been used as the inspiration. But is Krishna asking us to subscribe to his policy because he is giving us very good returns? What is Krishna doing here? Let us see. But those seekers by whom I am integrally sought focus only on me in their every thought. To those whose consciousness is one with mine, to them I bring the prosperity divine. So it's not the results. It's not about the results here, though it is used for an organization which is promising results, whatever it may be the reason. But here Krishna is saying, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. He says, I will take care of your journey when your consciousness is focused on me. This we have seen in the 8th Adhyaya also how it helps in the Prayan Kal also, but in life also Krishna is saying the same thing. They are not caring for the heavens, they're not caring for any other particular, I don't want this boon, I don't want this Vardhan, I don't want this Siddhi also. What do I want? I just want to learn the way of Sharana, I want to understand the way of surrender, I just want to understand what my bhakti is, help purify my bhakti, raise it higher, that is all is the prayer, that is enough, that is sufficient. Because Krishna says, when your consciousness is focused on the divine, he says, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. And this is an experience people have got. The divine is leading them, divine is looking after. I have come across some people working in certain NGOs, very senior men. They don't have good funding also, and it is like they hardly make ends meet. But this is somehow he ends meet. This is divine is watching us. He is not cruel. He is not. And I have always watched. And this person is very senior man. He says every time. He says every time it looks like what am I going to do? Where will I have money to feed the people in old age home? Where will I find the money? And correctly somebody comes and something happens. He says this yoga kshemam vahamyam. He believes in that. Same way in Nagpur also I had gone once there. I saw one school, a small school started by one in a very poor locality. Now, who is going to? He finally got tired because he kept writing to the government, and so many times, despite writing, nothing happened. They came for scrutiny, they did verification, yet they were not approving his institute only. And yet he said, my work should go on. He reached a point where he didn't even have food now. What did he do? He sent his children, go with this blanket, go to the sabji mandi. And the children would go with a blanket, and the sellers would actually put little. Each person would offer something for that because it is for the children. And this is how this person has been going on. It is just slowly. It is just going on continuously. And yoga kshemam vahamyam. This is a promise somebody who has experienced only can get. I remember one participant actually had asked a question which was very difficult for me. She was a widow and she's got two children, and it was Corona time which was going on. She said, I felt sick. She said, I got worried. It was not Corona, but when in that night, she said, I got worried. If something happens to me, who will look after my children now? What will happen to them? Now, what is that wrong to have this desire for my children, or what is it wrong? Now, this was a very strong question which I cannot answer such a question. How can I? I actually just closed my eyes. I thought which shloka comes to mind, and this was the shloka. I just told her, see if this shloka is of any use. Krishna says this yoga kshemam vahamyam. She says, yes, this shloka connected with me. It is, even if I am not there, there is somebody. The Mata is there, the Dhata is there, the Pitamaha is there, who is going to take care of the individual. And for her, it was. For me, I may not have been perfectly convinced with that because her experience is a raw, real experience. How can I tell her you cannot worry for your children? It is a natural mother's feeling which will come. But even higher than that, for her she got, and she is very strong individual. I've had a good opportunity to remain in touch also, but that is how it is. Yoga Kshemam Vahamim. Look at Nyaneshwar's family. What happened? Parents, they did that Dehanta Prayashit. They said, in village, you will promise to take care of my children if we both end our lives. Is it not what you are asking? They say, yes, we will do that. Please take care of my children. But the village turned their back on the children. They did not even give bhiksha to the children. Anybody who gave bhiksha were treated as outcasts in the village. Yet look at the gems that were born. Who was raising them? Who was looking after? So there is something like that. This promise is there. This is not just a what we can say shallow words. These are real words. Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. I looked after them. I look after them is what Krishna says. For those who are focusing completely on me, not worrying about the results, not seeking anything in return, not even aspiring even for the heavens. They come to me and I look after them is what he says. येऽपि अन्यदेवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्त्य विधिपूर्वकम्. He goes on, even those who offer to other godheads sacrifice to me, for by coming to me only their sacrifices can fulfilled be. As their devotion and faith is pure and without flaw, I receive them. though they offer not as per the true law. So he says, because the devotion and faith is pure, he says, I accept them. They may be offering to particular, I don't like Krishna. This was how Tukaram's wife said, I don't like Panduranga. I don't like his face. She would worship Krishna. Now Krishna and Panduranga are one. Nobody was, she would not believe that. Nobody had to, even if 100 people told her, she would not. Krishna says it's alright. He says it's alright. Devotion and faith is pure. It is flawless. I will accept even if it is not as per the perfect way. It's okay. He says, I will make it. It's like I will make the corrections. It's alright. So just allow that to be pure. He goes on, Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha natu mami natu mama bhijananti tatve natash cha chavanti te. He goes on, for every sacrifice performed, I am the enjoyer, the overlord of sacrifices, I am the true receiver. But they know not my truth fundamental, and in their growth, this is detrimental. So, this is the truth that all sacrifices are leading to that divine only, and I am the receiver. Those who don't understand it, well, this is that ignorance, and this is the ignorance which is going to trouble their growth only. It is going to be a barrier. The day they realize it, that this is actually one, there will not be any fight. I had gone to a Vaishnava temple and asked for bilwa, and I had insulted probably all the people present there because they felt most disturbed. How dare you come and ask for a bilwa? As if now because of me there's going to be a fight between Shiva and Vishnu. But this is the thought in their minds that this is different, they are different. But when they lose that thought, maybe that will be a brilliant understanding. But until this ignorance is there, it is going to prevent them. Krishna goes on, Yanti Deva Vrata Devan Pitrun Yanti Pitruvrata Bhutani Yanti Bhuteja Yanti Madhya Jinopimam. To the abode of the deities go the god worshippers, worshippers of the divine ancestors, to the realm of the ancestors, performers of the sacrifice to the spirit, to the elements they enjoin. But my worshippers, to me they come and directly join. Krishna says this, to the abode of the deities, to the Devalokas go the worshipper of the Devas, the worshippers of the Pitas go to the Pitar Loka, the worshippers of the spirit, maybe the Tantrics who are summoning the spirits, they will join the spirits. But he says, those worshippers who seek the divine consciousness completely, who seek me, they come directly, they come to that consciousness. What they are trying to understand, that supreme tattva, they reach that highest stage, is what Krishna says. And then comes the next aspect. He says, this is a beautiful shloka. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upahrutam ashnami prayatatmanah. He who offers with devotion a leaf or a flower or a fruit or even a singular cup of water, when the offering is with love replete, it is to me acceptable and complete. So Krishna is saying this is all that is required. He says, offers with devotion, a leaf or a flower. He's not saying bilva only or this tulsi or anything, any particular leaf. As long as it is offered with that. The bhava is so important, he's saying, not what is being offered. He offers with devotion a leaf or a flower, a fruit, or even singular cup of water. Now, whom do we offer a cup of water in life?
To a guest.
To a guest or even any random stranger who is thirsty on the road,
Yeah.
somebody asks, we will not say no, is it not? So Krishna is,
Pani
yes, is it not? That's a punya, it's a natural thing you will do. It's a human nature, even if you don't consider it as punya. It is like, see, that person is thirsty, it's just water. Water is a basic, essential aspect of life. At least that. So Krishna is saying he doesn't care if you're not, he says you have to offer this much only or this particular way. But here he says how it is offered is more important. So even to a stranger we can offer water. Well, Krishna says, give me that cup of water also, but give it to me with love. It is enough for me. It is going to be complete. So Dama can offer simple poha and it will be like what it is sufficient. It is the most luxurious item Krishna, the great emperor, can taste. It is, or bear of Shabri is most sweet, even though it is half eaten. Maybe they may not have been sweeter also. She's so old, she might have lost a little bit of taste. But to Sri Rama, it was the sweetest. Lakshmana could get irritated. How can you give this? Rama was enjoying it and he was experiencing the pure love that was behind that offering. Just for him, it was like a motherly figure. She is offering with such love. Look at that love. It is so beautiful. That is so pure. That was what he was enjoying. It was not the bear that he was enjoying. Krishna is saying the same thing. He says, just as long as it is with love replete, it is complete. It is acceptable for me. It becomes acceptable. It is complete for me.
It's as simple. Patram, Palam, Poyam,
Yes, yes,
Pushpam,
yes,
all seem to be simple things.
yes.
Can you manufacture any of these things? Nature can give.
Yeah, so beautiful. Vasudhan
Nothing
ji.
more to this.
Ji, ji, ji.
Right? Because it's none of those four you can manufacture.
We cannot manufacture, is it not? Yes,
Only from nature. So it is, in a way, they can say it is higher than all those manufactured.
yes, yes, yes.
You know.
Yes, yes.
But
And who are we offering it to? We are offering it back to the manufacturer only. Is it
yes,
not? Is it not? We are not, we are actually whom it belongs to. We just, it is Tera Tujhko Arpan. We are basically not, nothing of ours. We are just, but we are offering it the bhava which is more important. Yes, Vasudevanji. Probably we'll just look at two more shlokas and then we'll stop today. This adhyaya is called Raja Vidya, the king knowledge, the secret of secrets which Krishna is saying. We'll just probably pause. 28th is almost completion of this adhyaya. We have completed almost 3/4. We will just see what is that king knowledge maybe which is hidden here. What was this secret knowledge? We will just look at it. Yat karoshi, yad ashnasi, yat juhoshi, dadasi, yat Yat tapasyasya kaunteya tat kurushva madarpana. This is beautiful. He says, Madarpanam. Whatever you do, he says, your sacrifice. So, yagna, yes, Madarpanam, your sacrifice. Your enjoyment, even your enjoyment. Why not? Why are you going to hide your enjoyment from the divine? Are you going to only share your suffering and troubles? No, your enjoyments also. One person asked, if I go on vacation, or I'm celebrating with family, what should I do? Why not call Krishna with you on your trip? Enjoy, look at how wonderful that trip is going to be. Krishna's Chaitanya is always there. And when it is there, everybody, it's like how the gopis learned to love better. They started adoring their children better when Krishna's consciousness was there. So Krishna is saying the same thing. Your sacrifice also, your enjoyments also. Why not try sharing an ice cream with the divine? Why want to eat it alone, not sharing it with the divine? So even your enjoyments, your every action also, whatever action you are doing, all your austerities, so the austerities that you perform, certain strict disciplines that you are following, that also you offer. Don't make think I am doing the discipline. No, let the divine participate. Let him understand. Discipline also will not seem strict that time. Offerings and your every donation, your every offering, your every donation, even the dana, let that happen. And that is the beautiful, there's a beautiful mantra. Tvadiyam vastu govindam tubhyam eva samarpayet. What is yours, I am offering it back to you only. That is the donation. So you are just, what are you doing? We are just enjoying the act of participation. That is all. Channel your soul's effort and inner will. Let all your offerings be as per my divine will, as per the will of the cosmic consciousness. What is it working for? The cosmic consciousness is working for Loka Sangraha. What is it waiting for? Well, it is waiting for instruments only. Instruments which are not driven by ego, instruments which are receptive to this divine will. So he says, let all your actions, let all your offerings be as per my divine will. What happens then? He says, Shubha Shubha Phalairevam Moksha se Karma Bandhanaihi Sannyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukto Mamupashyasi. He says, from good and evil you shall attain liberation. What is Papa, what is Punya, what is Shubha, what is Ashubha? When you reach that state, when you're offering, you are going to transcend all of that. He says, you will attain moksha. Moksha will be yours. Don't have to worry about Rahu Kal also. Moksha will come at the most inauspicious hour also if you want. You can be liberated at all times, he says. And from all bonds of karmas, you shall attain dissolution. With your soul engaged purely in my consecration, you shall be free and experience my realization. So you will truly have a free life. What freedom, what azadi. People sometimes go chanting in colleges, hame chahiye azadi, but which azadi they want, they have not yet understood that. What is that azadi? Well, this is the azadi, beautiful freedom, beautiful, all relations you have freedom, in your life's journey you have freedom, you are not trapped by your ignorance also, and you are conscious, and that is the real freedom, that is the mukti. Esha moksha, there's something very nice word in Sri Aurobindo Upanishad also. This is moksha, this is that. That realization can be got, is what Krishna is saying by a very simple way, and that is the secret. I think with this I'll conclude with the Shanti Mantra, after which probably we can try to guess what was that Raja Vidya that Krishna was sharing. Of course, this Adhyaya is not yet over. There are some more shlokas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more shlokas are there. But almost in this, what we have seen, the greatest secret, what is that king knowledge? Krishna has already, this Pavitram, this Uttama Rahasya which he is sharing, it is already known, he has already shared it to us. So I'll conclude the Shanti Mantra. After that, probably we can just look at for a couple of minutes or a few minutes, as whichever way you wish. Hari Om. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. हरि ओम तत्सत्. कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं. Hari Om. Yes, please. So anybody, what would you think is the Raja Vidya here Krishna has revealed? Because when he started the first shloka, he says, Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyamya nasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajnatva moksha se shubhat. So there also this aspect, he said, you know this, you will get moksha. What is it that he has given here? Can anybody guess? Yes, please.
You
He is everything.
Yes, Madhaviji?
He is everything, and he is the
Okay, Madhaviji is saying,
creator.
yes, he is the creator, he is the destroyer, he is the, that shloka is there, no? Mata, Dhata, Pitamaha, that's a nice shloka to remember. Yes, Madhaviji. All right, that is one. Yes, please. Okay. Yes, Dipti ji.
Pure knowledge.
Okay, Srinivas ji.
Pure,
Okay, and then I'll come to Dipti ji. Yes,
pure knowledge.
pure knowledge is what Srinivas ji is saying. Okay, pure knowledge, this undiluted wisdom, that is one what Srinivas ji is perceiving. Yes, please. Yes, Dipti ji.
Path, the path to the ultimate destination, and then that cycle of coming back and going. He's just giving that you can get rid of that and you can just attain there,
Okay.
go there.
That which will
So
not
that's
change.
the
Something, the highest he is talking about the high, that is
so
the
that
Raja
you don't.
Vidya. Okay. Okay, Deepti ji, all right. Yes, Dr. Poonam ji.
So in this Adhyaya, I think he's saying because he has created everything, he is in everybody, and everybody, if we remember him all the time with devotion and Shraddha,
Okay.
wherever we are doing anything, and just think that because he has created everything, वो
Okay.
सब में है और
हाँ.
सब उसमें है. अगर हम इसको, if we remember all the time and do everything whatever we are doing, if we remember and just arpan, tera pushpo
हाँ.
arpan, what he said,
जी.
and patram pushpam phalam toyam, he doesn't need anything.
हाँ. Yes.
He just need whatever you are doing, just remember him and just arpan.
जी.
And
जी,
he
जी.
is there to look after you, Bhikshemam Vahamya.
Yes.
If we do like this, he is going to take care of us.
जी, जी, जी.
And
That
I
is
think this
that is the Rajavidya Dr. Poonamji is saying. So Madarpanam, that was the word Krishna said. Yad, it's like even say Yad Ashnasi, Yad Johoshi, Dadasi, Yad Karoshi, all of it. Whatever you are doing, do it as Madarpana. So what we understand is how so many different interpretations we are getting as what is Rajavidya. Is any one person correct or if all are correct? What do you think? Yes?
All are correct.
All are correct. Okay, yes. Ekam sat vipraha bahuda vadanti. It is said. One high truth is looked at in so many ways and told differently. But yes, so that is it. And this is why it is called the Rajavidya, where you are able to actually connect with it perfectly. Each person may have a different perception of it. But yes, and this is the highlight, because if you connect the first sloka with this sloka, because he said, I'll tell you that knowledge which is going to give you moksha. He says you get moksha from everything, moksha from karma bandhana also. How? He says by surrender. And Mad Arpana, he says even enjoyments, he's saying yes. No, he's not saying don't enjoy life. Enjoy life, but do not do it alone. What are you going to hide? Are you going to hide something from Krishna? He can find better which is hidden in the most, what we can say, secret place also. So what are you going to hide? Instead, why not share and Enjoy your all moments with the divine, and divine's consciousness is there. You will not do anything wrong because you have surrendered. The real surrender, if you are able to do every action. It was like one mother wanted to raise her children spiritually, so she says, I am beating my child, and still spirituality is not coming inside the child. This is not something which with a scale you can fix. You're not stuffing spirituality inside of a child. So I just asked her this question. I just asked her, why you are hitting Bal Krishna? Then she was like, oh yes, yes, no, 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 I will not hit again. Because this aspect is there. If you are able to every action you are just going to offer, you will not do it. She will not hit the child again if she thinks this is Bal Krishna only. Will I go and how dare will I dare to do that? No, it will not happen when you are conscious of it. If you are not conscious, so little actions also we can, and this can give the highest moksha. This is the beauty of the Gita, is moksha is not something which is completely far away. It's probably now Shraddha. Shraddha is this great, what we can say, Uttama Rahasya, but this is an open secret. Sometimes secrets are there in the open only and we don't know. Because it is left in the open, we don't give importance to it. We say, ah, it is here only. This is that secret Krishna has revealed, that yes, Madarpana, offering everything. And let us see what more is there in this Adhyay. So we will continue tomorrow.
Share one
Yes, please.
experience from my life.
Okay, Ji. Yes, Ji. Okay, yes, please.
Shall I add something?
Okay, probably then Srinivas ji and then Dipti ji, is that okay? Okay. Yes, Ji.
See, actually, for an ordinary person like me, I cannot have 100% pure Shraddha. So whatever rituals are prescribed, say offering Bilva Patra, say 108 Bilva Patra, so that develops a confidence when I offer 108 Bilva Patra to Shankara. So that helps me build the Shraddha.
Okay.
So what we are saying, that whatever anything you offer, it reaches to ultimately divine.
Okay.
So these offerings, they help us in developing Shraddha.
Yes, yes, yes. Krishna's.
So it is important. Whether you offer, see, if I offer say 50 Bilba Patra, maybe I will not be satisfied that I have done a correct thing. But when I offer 108 Bilba Patra, then definitely an ordinary person like me, he feels that yes, I have done something really good, which is, and now whatever I desire, I will get it.
Okay.
So the so I am talking about the importance of the rituals. So
If what I'm saying is Srinivas ji, that's true. That is true. Krishna is not dissing rituals. He's not saying rituals don't mean anything. He's saying yes, fine. You have the Shraddha and rituals, it's fine. But it's like sometimes in some homes now, like you said, 108 Bilva Patras. Now 107 are present. The child, the son or daughter has taken one away. What is going to happen? The entire atmosphere is like that. 107 only, that one Bilva Patra, you stole it, you spoiled this from my worship, you have come, you have become the Vigna, and now what's going to happen then? The atmosphere is going to change. Why are we doing it? For raising our consciousness. But then if we are trapped in that aspect only, and now what are we going to do? We'll end up actually creating a very strong counter sanskar, not only on ourselves, on our child also. It will always be remembered. It will become a very unnecessary memory that is going to be etched everywhere. Instead, it's like, acha, already Shiva already stole one Bilva Patra. He did not wait for me to offer, and let that go. Continue it and let it be complete. It is like how there is a beautiful avahanam na janami na janami visarjanam pujam chaiva na janami shamyatam parameshwaram mantrahinam kriyahinam bhaktihinam sureshwara yat pujitam maya devo paripurnam tadastume. Meaning it's like it's all right. There's a prayer people say even in rituals. I don't know to invite you. I don't know the real way to send off also. I don't know the right puja kriya also. They are doing puja kriya only. But why they are saying not, maybe there might be something wrong. So then he says, you understand it is with Shraddha I have offered, so you consider it complete. It is like you accept it. So that aspect is, that is right. The rituals have their place, but sometimes if you see Kathopanishad is a story which is started because of an angry father in a ritual only. And the child, he says, he gets irritated and he tells the child, go to Yama. I'll give you to Yama, because the child is trying to point out some higher truth which the father is not interested. The father is interested in the ritual only. And then he says, go to Yama. And now this Nachiketas, young boy, he says, okay. Now that is the biggest problem. Now he has said, go to hell, and this person says, okay, I'll go. He says, and he actually goes to Yama, and then the beautiful, what they call it, Yama Gita. the Gita which Yama taught to Nachiketas, that came into existence. So yes, rituals are not to be said, they are not what we can say, not important at all. But along with that, if we, because here what happens again, individual takes precedence over the ritual, then it's a problem. That is all. Yes, please. That's, but it is a nice point, Srinivas ji. Yes, ji.
Nicely explained. Thank you.
Yes, ji. Hari Om ji. Hari Om. Hare Krishna. Hari Om.
Can I
Yes.
add something there?
Okay, ji.
Supposing you are doing this giving offering this Bilva Patra in a temple,
Yeah.
and if the pujari Ashraddha, it seems you will get that the Shraddha get
Ashraddha.
you given to the deity with Shraddha. Even though you don't have the Shraddha, if the pujari has the Shraddha, the offering gets, that's what they say. In Tamil, there's a saying, I don't remember the saying.
Okay.
But the god, the deity, the god there, the deity are not depends on the Shraddha or the pujari. Something like that.
Okay, yes, yes, because sometimes you have offered with all Shraddha, but the pujari is probably angry with his wife over something, and instead of saying the mantra in his mind, he's saying something else. Will you get the negative consequence? Yes, yes, the medium, it is of course. Krishna uses, we say he uses instruments. Later on, we will see, we'll see how yantra, it's like yantras. Shri Aurobindo's beautiful shloka is there. Yantrini chale yantram yatheshtam gananaike. As you wish, use this instrument. He says, use this instrument. He says, I am ready for you to use me as per your wish. That is, there's a complete surrender. Let the divine utilize. You want me to become Rama, I'll become Rama. You want me to become Ravana, I'll become Ravan. But use me as you wish. That is the where surrender, where you are allowing the divine to function. Yes, please, Deepti ji. Please go on. Yes, please. You were saying.
So true. Because the incidents I'll share tomorrow.
Okay.
What you said is so true, because I remember when I was a child. So my father used to recite Hanuman Chalisa, and I have been trying to learn it, but I mix it up, like the
Okay.
first and then the last, and then so I used to tell my grandma, मेरे को याद नहीं होता है. It's so long. So she always used to say, whatever you know, you say, but you say it with a full bhav. That's it. You
Okay.
don't need to do anything else. It has happened many times with me that I forget, or sometimes doing any kind of mantra. But of course, when you do it the full bhav, I've realized that that has not felt me. I mean, I never felt guilty. Oh, I'm not doing the right thing. I'm not doing the right thing. At the end of the puja or whatever I'm doing, let's say a minute or two, it's giving me satisfaction only.
Ji, ji, ji.
The bhav is so important.
Ji, ji, and sometimes it is like that. It is the bhava makes things happen. I had a very bad, funny experience of going to Shani Mandir and saying a mantra which is not Shani's mantra, thinking it is Shani's mantra. I was so happy, all powered, charged up, and see, I have now got the blessings and then gone to work. That was just right after college. I had not got introduced much to Sanskrit also then. But so I was very happy the entire day. When I came out, my first thing I saw experience was I put my foot in cow dung. My shoe, nice shoe, went into cow dung, and I thought this is a good sign. This is an auspicious sign. God is probably cow dung is a very pure thing, is what I thought. And the day went. It was a mixed day, but I felt it was a brilliant day because I was having that bhava only. Then I go to my teacher and with a lot of pride I say, see, I before this marketing tour I did this japa in this mandir directly in front. I did Shani mantras japa, and because he has not taught me, he curiously asked, very good, what was the mantra? I said, Devanancha Rishinancha Gurung Kanchana Sannipam. And something had happened. I had taken the wrong mantra. I had taken Guru's mantra. It comes before. And he said, did you not see there's no Shani in it? And I was like, oh no. And then I thought, am I going to have now bad consequence? Have I made Shani angry with? And he said, no, these are all parents. These are grahas are also like your parents. Well, your father or mother get angry if your child says instead of mama, the child says some other way. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference if bhava is there. Parents don't get annoyed when they are very young toddlers speak something pronounced wrongly. They cannot say even mama or papa. It's all right for parents because they see that they love that, enjoy that moment so much. So it was like that. The bhava is important and the arpana is important, as I think rightly said. So maybe Deepti tomorrow probably we can look at what you want to share if you can recollect it. Yes, please. Hari Om ji, Hare Krishna, Hari Om, Hari Om,
Hari Om.
Hari Om,
Hari Om.
Hari Om ji, Hari Om ji, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om ji, Hari Om.